going to find a cross-legged seat, but as I said, you're welcome to find any other. And your hands could rest maybe on your thighs. And maybe we'll start with eyes closed if that works for you. Shoulders away from ears, finding just a bit more length through the spine. And taking about 5 to 10 breaths to arrive, to signal that we made time and space to practice, that we showed up. And then just allow the breath to take over. So deeper inhales, longer exhales, explore that rhythm. Maybe you breathe in and out through the nose just a little bit more, make it a bit more obvious. Through the nose and through the mouth. And as you're finding those first intentional breaths, find also some softness around your eyes, maybe your jaw. And you might take just a little check-in, see where your body is at today. Notice any sensations that it brings along. And then don't restrict it only to that physical body. Notice where your mental state is at, your emotional state. And you don't have to label it, you just pay attention, notice whatever is there. And then we'll set the intention to work with all of it, right? So not pushing things away, including them, and working with them. So let's take another breath in, see if you can lengthen just a bit more through the top of your head. And then as you breathe out, draw the chin towards your chest and find some space in the back of the neck. Drop your shoulders down, take another breath. And then send your right ear towards your right shoulder. And as you send the ear towards the shoulder, your chin slightly lifts away from your chest. Breathe in. And then return the chin to the chest on the exhale. Again, space in the back of the neck. Breath in. And take it over to the left side, left ear towards left shoulder, finding now space in the right side of your neck. Chin slightly lifts away from the chest. Right shoulder is heavy. Breath in. And chin returns to chest. Now as you inhale, lifting the gaze, opening eyes if you had them closed, reach your arms wide and all the way overhead. And then as you exhale, lower your right hand down by your side and then reach up and over with your left. So if your right hand is on the floor, you could give the floor a bit of a push. See if you can puff those left ribs towards the left side just a little bit more. Inhale, bring yourself back, arms lift, and let's take it to the other side. Left hand down, reaching up and over, and then giving a little push through that left hand if you had it on a surface. Right ribs puff towards the right, breathe in, and breathe out. Bring yourself back through center on the inhale, interlace your hands overhead, and then turn the palms towards the ceiling. Take another breath in, push through those palms, and maybe engage a bit more through your legs, push through your sit bones. And now as you exhale, bring your arms forward, your fingers are still interlaced, and we're just going to push the palms forward as we round the spine towards the space behind us. Chin can come towards the chest. And then as you inhale, we're going to lift neutral spine or even a bit of a back bend and the palms towards the ceiling. And then again, as you exhale, round, push those palms away from you. One more time like that. Inhale and lift. And exhale as you round. And now with your next inhale, let's lift. Once again, lower the left hand down by your side, coming into a side stretch. Maybe this time you can come a bit lower, maybe even onto your elbow. Inhale, come back through center, reaching those arms up and taking it over to the other side on the exhale. And again, here maybe elbow drops a bit lower. Inhale, back through center, reach those arms up. And on your exhale, lower those arms down by your side. So if you were sitting cross-legged, let's switch those legs, bring the opposite leg on top or in front. Plant again those sit bones, and now give your shoulders a roll. Bring them up by your ears, squeeze them in, and then release them down the back. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift those shoulders. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift, squeeze them in. And then release them down. Exhale. Now with your next inhale, your arms are going to lift. And as you exhale, coming into a twist, left hand comes behind us. The right hand is going to cross over. Don't take it too far. Initial twist, first moments of practice. So don't rely too much on your hands. So don't push yourself into the twist. Try to use some of those abdominal muscles to rotate through the spine. One more inhale and exhale. And now as you inhale, what we're going to do is we're going to cross the left arm over the right. Torso turns forward. See if you can catch your opposite knee. And then you're crossing arms and then send your back body back, chin towards your chest. So a nice stretch for that upper back, mid back, maybe even you feel some in that lower back. Breathe in and breathe out. And then as you inhale, release, reach your arms once again overhead, neutral spine. And let's take the twist to the other side. Right hand behind us, left hand crosses over. You're turning towards your right. But again, don't just use your arms and push yourself into it. Use some of those abdominal muscles rotating through that torso. Breath in and breath out. And we'll do the same thing here now. So right arm now is going to cross over the left. See if you can catch your opposite leg. And then we're going to round that spine, sending that back body back, drawing the chin towards the chest, breathing in and breathing out. And then using the next inhale to release, reaching those arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And then on your exhale, lowering those hands in front of you and see if you can come over your knees to come into a table pose. Once you're in your table pose, your hands more or less under your shoulders, your knees more or less under your hips. Remember, any cushioning for knees, always a good idea if those are a bit sensitive. And you choose here if tops of the feet are on the mat or you'd rather tuck your toes and stretch the soles of the feet. You could also alternate. We'll move between cow and cat. As you inhale, belly drops, the chest comes forward. Find some lift through your gaze and your sit bones. And then as you exhale, any amount of rounding, chin towards the chest, back body towards the ceiling. Let's do that again. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. With your own breath, inhale and exhale. Let's find one more. And then we'll meet with a neutral spine and we'll begin to move those legs a bit here. So with your next inhale, left leg is going to rise. And you're going to send it all the way out behind you. And then as you exhale, bend that knee and find some circles with your left knee. Okay. And these circles could be pointing to the floor to begin, and then you might find that you're able to lift that knee out to the side a bit more, bring it a bit closer to your chest, bringing it out behind you a bit more, maybe making those circles a bit bigger, and then switching direction with your circles. Try to keep the rest of your body stable, so your chest is still more or less facing the ground, your gaze maybe also. And then with your next inhale, straighten that leg all the way out behind you once again, and then lower the ball of the foot. So your toes are pointing forward and you're pressing back with your heel. Make it really strong. So push through that heel, engage through that left leg, and then push through your arms. So you're not letting your chest collapse between your arms. Okay? You're trying to spread the upper back. Take a full breath in. And as you do this, you might even find that you can become a bit lighter through your right knee. And if that's the case, maybe float your right knee off the mat. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more. Breath in. And then on your exhale, if your knee was lifted, lower it back down. Lift your left leg. And as you exhale, draw that knee into your chest, rounding your spine and pausing here. Pushing the floor away, breathe in and breathe out. Now as you inhale, lengthen that leg out, and on your exhale, bend that knee and return to your table pose. From here, let's find a child's pose. So big toes to touch, knees go a little wider, and then send your sit bones towards your heels as you send your arms forward. And we started quite a bit on those wrists, so if your arms are in front of you, you could find a fist and then gently rotate your wrists in both directions. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then from this child's pose, let's come back into table pose, and we've got the right side now to work on. So when you're ready, that right leg is going to rise behind you. And then bend that knee and begin to find your circles here with this right hip. And make it engage, so slow down with your circles. Sometimes if we go fast, we're kind of using momentum. We're not working so much with muscle and just more with like gravity and momentum, right? So we want to strengthen through those muscles. So slowing those circles down and controlling the movement, switching direction if you haven't already. Maybe your circles now begin to be a little bigger. And then take another breath in and breath out. From here, as you inhale, lengthen that right leg out behind you, and then let's plant the ball of the foot. Once again, we're going to make it really active and strong. So push through that back heel, engage through your right glute and your right thigh, and then press away through your hands, broaden upper back. Just like this, you might notice less weight on your left knee. Maybe that means that you can lift that left knee off the ground. And if it's not happening, don't worry either. Okay, keep building on that strength. Breath in, breath out. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, if the knee was lifted, lower it back down. Right leg rises, inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, round your spine. Pause here, breath in. Breath out, drawing belly to spine. And then as you inhale, lengthen that leg out. And on your exhale, return to your table pose. From here, staying in table pose, we're going to turn the left fingers towards the left side and the right fingers towards the right. And then left fingers towards the left knee and then right fingers towards the right knee. So if this is not happening completely, feel free to have them slightly out, so more at an angle towards the outer edge of your mat. And then we're going to go through some cows and cats right here with the fingers pointing towards the knees. So quite a stretch for the inner part of the wrist. As you inhale, belly drops, chest forward, gaze up. Exhale, round your spine. See if you can press through your fingers. And then again, inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then neutral spine, turn your fingers to point forward, usual table position. And then from here, tuck your toes and let's find downward facing dog. So lifting those sit bones up and back, pressing through the hands, chest towards your thighs, finding a full breath in and a full breath out. And beginning to move a bit more. So now as you inhale, roll out into a plank pose. So you're bringing your shoulders over your wrists. And then as you exhale, move back into downward facing dog, sending those sit bones up and back. With your breath, slow things down. Inhale, come out into plank. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, coming out into plank. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Pause in downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. And then one more breath in. And breath out. With your next inhale, walk your feet to your hands to your feet. We're going to find a forward fold at the top of the mat. A nice bend in those knees, holding opposite elbows. Allow your head to hang. Breath in and breath out. From here, getting into those hamstrings, take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, bend into your right knee, straightening the left. Send your left sit bone a little higher and press down through your left heel. Breath in and breath out. Now as you inhale, bend into your left knee. Same thing now with the right side. Right knee straightens. Make sure you don't hyperextend it though. And then push down through your right heel and lift through that right sit bone. Breath in and breath out. We'll do it one more time each side, bending into the right, straightening the left, and then bending into the left and straightening the right. And then from here, bend into both knees, nice generous bend, release your elbows and rise into a chair pose. Arms can come up by your ears, and then let's lower them to the heart. Palms together, elbows wide, and press through the palms to spread your elbows even wider, so making it active. Send more weight into your heels, maybe lift your toes and wiggle them, and then release your shoulders down and away from your ears. Take a full breath in, and take a full breath out. With your next inhale, push the floor away, reach your arms overhead, straightening legs, left arm down, side stretch as you exhale. Come back through center, inhale, and take it over to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale. Bring those hands behind you, interlace them at your lower back. Engage through glutes, lower belly, open up chest, knuckles reach down, inhale. And as you exhale, bend in those knees and fold forward. Once you're in your forward fold, maybe those knuckles reach up towards the ceiling. Get some extra stretch for your shoulders if that's available. Draw the chin towards your chest. Breathe in and breathe out. Release those hands on the inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, plant your hands and step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat, coming into a low lunge. So your hands are planted. They could be on blocks if the floor is a little too far away. And then push back through that back heel. We're going to move between this on the inhale, dropping the hips, lifting the chest, maybe looking up towards the ceiling. And exhale, straightening that front leg, hips back. And then again, inhale, come forward. Keep your left glute active. Exhale and move back. And one more time, inhale, forward. And exhale, coming back. Now with your next inhale, we're coming forward, coming into that lunge, planting your left hand, and then sending your right arm out to the side and up towards the ceiling. So you're finding a twist towards your right. Breath in and breath out. And let's stay in this twist and see if you can find some action through that top hand. So imagine making stars or flicking water with your fingers. And you start doing it quite fast. Remember your breath. Stay with active legs. Keep flicking through that upper hand. See if you can feel it in your forearm. Take another inhale. Exhale. And then pause. Lower that hand. And then lower that back knee down. From here, coming all the way into half split, straightening that front leg. Sending that left hip more or less over that left knee, and then walking your hands back towards you. Think about drawing your right toes towards your right shin, and then think about drawing your right hip back and pushing your left hip forward. Notice whatever you notice. Breathe in and breathe out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then bend into that right knee, bring those hips forward, tuck your back toes, lift that back knee, and make your way back into downward facing dog. Once you're in downward facing dog, full breath in. And a mouth open, exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. With your next inhale, come out into a plank pose. And now let's pause here on the exhale. Always welcome to lower your knees here. We'll take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. Draw the belly towards the spine. Think about your tailbone kind of reaching back and down. One more inhale. And slowly as you can, as you exhale, begin to lift your hips. You're coming onto your tiptoes. Keep your legs engaged and slowly make your way back into downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. With your next inhale, walk your feet towards your hands towards your feet. Forward fold as we exhale. Once again, hold opposite elbows. You could do it in front of your legs, or it might be available to hold behind the legs. Allow again the head to hang. Breath in and breath out. And we're coming back into chair. So releasing those elbows, bending into those knees, rising up, arms by your ears. And then as you exhale, bring hands to your heart. In your chair pose, a little bit more movement in those legs. So with your next inhale, your right heel rises. And as you exhale, lower. Keep the rest of the body stable. Left heel rises, inhale. Exhale, lower. Stay with one heel at a time, or steady your gaze and lift both heels. You're on the balls of the feet. Shoulders are down. Jaw is soft. Breath in. Exhale if heels are lifted. Lower. And then inhale, straighten legs, reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Coming back through center, inhale. And taking it over to the other side as we exhale. Back through center, inhale. Bring those hands behind you, interlace them. This time find the opposite interlace, so it's usually the one that feels awkward. And then straighten out those elbows. Once again, keep engagement through glutes and core as you open that chest. Full breath in. On your exhale, nice bend in those knees, folding forward. Once the head is hanging, maybe those arms lift. Take another breath. And then releasing those hands, halfway lift, inhale. And as you exhale, plant your hands, and now we're sending the right foot all the way to the back of the mat. So finding that low lunge now on this side. Hands again could be on blocks, or you might be on your fingertips. And then as you inhale, dropping those hips, bringing them forward, lifting the chest. And as we exhale, straightening that front leg so those hips go back. And working like this. Inhale, coming forward. You might use this also to give those toes a little extra stretch. Exhale and going back. And one more. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale as we go back. Now the next time that you come forward, you're coming into your lunge, so don't take it as deep. And then you're planting your right hand and open up into a twist towards your left. Now with your twist towards the left, you still want to keep your hips kind of in and square. Keep your left knee hugging in. And then let's start working with that top arm. So again, we're trying to make those like flicking water, or I heard also it called like making stars. That kind of sounds a little nicer. But you want to get it really active. See if you can feel it through the forearm. Keep it going. So its fingertips are coming towards one another in the palm, and then you're sending them away from one another, getting that stretch through the palm. One more breath in. Breath out. Nice job. And then find stillness through that hand, and let's lower that hand down, lower that back knee, and then come all the way into your half splits, straightening that left leg, toes towards your shin, readjust if needed, right knee more or less under right hip. And you're trying to find neutral spine. So a lot of times that can mean coming a bit higher with your chest. So don't get too stuck on the chest being down if that means rounding your spine. So sometimes like rounding the spine is going to take away from the stretch in the hamstring, because you want to think about your sit bone kind of lifting up and back. And when you round, the sit bones kind of tuck under. Keep reaching through crown of the head, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then let's bend into that left knee. Let's bring those hips forward, plant your hands, tuck those back toes, lift that back knee, and make your way back into downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, take a full breath in, lift your heels, and full breath out, lower those heels. And see if you can lift and lower those heels without changing much the position of your torso. So again, lift your heels, inhale, exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And now from here, let's bring a bit more space between those feet. And you might make your down dog just a little shorter. So maybe your feet are shoulder width or a little wider. And now with your next inhale, lift once again those heels and then pivot on the balls of the feet and drop your heels towards the right. See if you can feel a stretch through the left side of your torso, left armpit. And then as you inhale, come back onto the balls of the feet, lift your heels, and then switch heels towards your left. Right side gets a bit more of a stretch. Let's do it one more time each side. Inhale through center. Exhale, heels to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale, heels to the left. And then as you inhale, come back through center. And on your exhale, lower your knees. And let's come all the way into child's pose. Big toes to touch, sit bones towards your heels. Arms can be in front of you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring the palms together. Thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling. And then bring those thumbs to the back of your head, back of your neck. See if you can already feel a stretch through armpits. Breath in. And breath out. And then see if you can give a push through those elbows. So if your elbows on the mat, push a bit through them and see how that changes a bit the stretch in that back body, upper arms. One more inhale. And exhale. And then with your next inhale, bring those arms forward once again, and then make your way into a table pose. Okay? So those knees under your hips, those hands under your shoulders. With your next inhale, your right arm is going to come out into a T, and we're going to open it up, open the torso towards the right too. So don't make it just about cranking your shoulder, but about a twist through your torso. And then as you exhale, right arm comes under the left, and then thread and look towards your left side. And then again, inhale, open up. Exhale, thread. Inhale, open. And now on your exhale, thread, and see if you can drop your right shoulder to the mat, your head to the mat. And if that's not available, remember a pillow or a block, bringing the floor a bit higher. Your right palm is facing up, your left hand is by your face, and you're putting in some weight there, and you're even pushing into that left hand. Try to level out your hips. play maybe with sending the left hip slightly back. See how that feels. And then push down through that right shoulder. Breath in and breath out. So I'm going to give you some options here to play with. Okay, welcome to use them or not. First one, left leg is going to extend out. So toes are still on the ground, but the knee will lift. And you've got your left leg out. You can pause here. Maybe if you're feeling balanced and it's about putting some weight into that right shoulder and your left hand, maybe your left toes, left leg lifts off the ground. Keep your left glute engaged. That's what's lifting the leg. Your hips are not lifting up. That's going to make you roll onto your right side. Breath in. On the exhale, if your foot was lifted, leg was lifted, we're going to lower the foot. And then we're going to lower the knee, return it to your usual kind of thread the needle pose. And then with your next inhale, we're going to come back up. So press down through your left hand, open up towards your right arm goes all the way up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, we're going to send that right arm forward. So swim it forward. And then when your fingertips plant, then come onto your left forearm. So right arm is out in front of you. You're on your fingertips, elbow, palm is lifted. The left forearm and hand are on the ground. And then keep reaching through those right fingers. Send your right sit bone back. And then feel that stretch through right armpit, right side of the body. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then walk that right hand back towards you. Come onto both hands and return to your table pose. So now before we do the other side, let's just shift those hips from side to side. And as you shift the hips from side to side, start getting into that side body. So find a bit of a side bend. So you might shift your hips towards the left and look over towards your right heel. Bring them through center and then switch, looking over towards your left heel. And then a couple more times like that. And then the next time you come through center, let's do all that on the left side. So as you're ready, left arm comes out and then up towards the ceiling. And again, you're opening that chest towards the left. So it's not just about the shoulder. And then as you exhale, thread, look over to the right. And do that again, opening up on the inhale. Exhale, threading. And open, inhale. And this time as you thread, we're going to stay. So we're going to lower shoulder, head to the mat or to a block or to a pillow. Okay? And you're going to take a moment here before doing anything else. So make sure that you've got some action going on in that left shoulder and left shoulder blade area, the left arm. And then action in your right hand pushing into that mat. Send those sit bones back. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then again, there'll be options on this side too. So, exploration. Maybe you're feeling stable here in this twist. So then maybe that right foot can step back. Your toes still on the ground. Keep your hips level. And maybe if you're feeling stable here, your right foot lifts off the mat. And here you're just using your right glutes. So you're not turning your right hip. Keep pressing through that left shoulder, left arm. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more inhale wherever you are. On the exhale, if your leg was lifted, lower those toes. And then lower the knee back down under the hip. From here, push into that right hand, and we're going to open up again towards the left. Inhale. And then as you exhale, we're going to swim that left arm forward. Take it as far forward as is available. And once those fingers plant, see if you can come onto your right forearm. And then keep reaching through those left fingers and send your left sit bone back. Breath in and breath out. 2 more cycles of breath right here. Give a little push through that right forearm. And then use your next inhale to walk those left fingers back towards you, coming back into a table pose. And then in this table pose, we're going to give those wrists just a little stretch. So we're going to turn the left palm to face up, fingers pointing towards the knee. So the top of your hand is going to be on the mat, but you're putting weight into your right hand. So you can control how much weight you put into the left and into this stretch. Okay. So the top of your wrist is kind of pointing towards the top of your mat. Be gentle, breathe in and breathe out. And then switch. Left palm plants, and now the right palm turns up, and again it's kind of that scooping action. So fingers are pointing towards your knee, right fingers. And then you're getting the top of that right hand towards the mat. And again, control the amount of weight, so the intensity of that stretch in that right hand, because you've got your left hand well planted. Breathe in and breathe out. And then let's return that right palm onto the mat. And then from here, tuck your toes and make your way into a downward facing dog. But from here, we're just going to walk those hands towards the feet. And we'll come into a forward fold at the bottom or the back of the mat. Holding opposite elbows once again, maybe in front of the legs, or if it's available, behind the legs. And then giving that chin a tuck towards the chest, to lengthen a bit more through the back of the neck. Breath in and breath out. 1 more inhale and exhale. And then with your next inhale, find a nice bend in those knees. Bring your hands to your hips, your chin to your chest, and then unroll your spine as if you were stacking one vertebra over the previous one, and you're rising up into a standing position. Shoulders can come up by the ears, then release them down the back, and your palms can turn forward. Okay? Opening through the front of the body. Keep those glutes engaged and a strong stance. Find a steady gaze. We'll find a little balance practice right now. So ground through your left foot. And then when you're ready, bend through your right knee. And then turn your right knee to point towards the right. You're coming onto the ball of that right foot or the toes. And then the heel can rest on the standing leg. It can come, or the foot can come onto a block, or it can come off the floor or the block and rest onto the standing leg. If you are resting it on the standing leg, remember it's better not to put it on the knee, or under or above, so that you're not putting side force on the knee joint. And then engage through the standing leg, so push the standing leg into the lifted foot as much as the foot pushes into the standing leg. If you're feeling stable through those legs, anything you'd like to do with your arms, hands could be at your heart, you could bring them behind you, you could lift them up towards the ceiling. I find that if you're lifting them up, you can use them to lift away from the standing leg. So rather than collapsing it, you can find some space, as if you were creating space between or in the joints. Breathing in and breathing out. From this tree pose, if your arms are lifted, let's lower them. And then let's turn that right knee to face forward, and we're going to come out of it with control. So lowering that right heel first, and then lowering the ball of the foot. And then think about your toes. See if you can lower from pinky all the way to big toe. And I always do this. It seems like when I'm doing my toes, I always do my fingers. And then once you've got both feet grounded, take a moment here, shift your weight forward and back. Give yourself a breath in, maybe roll the shoulders. Notice if there was any tension built up that maybe you didn't need or you don't need right now. See if you can release it. And then when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. So planting through that right leg, right foot, and then lifting that left heel, turning the knee. Find that external rotation through that left hip. And then as you're ready, find your place. A little exploration. And if you explore it and you go a bit too far, meaning that it's so much of a struggle to stay balanced that, you know, it's tension everywhere and breath is shallow, then take a step or take a different version of the pose. And once again, anything you'd want to do with your arms that feels good. Always option to have your hands on something, a wall, piece of furniture. And remember, the standing leg is not just something that you put weight into. You want to activate it. So use it to push away from, to lift from. And take another breath in. And another breath out. And one more inhale, lengthen. And then if your arms are lifted on your exhale with control, lower them down. And then once again, slowly, knee turns forward. From here, let's lower that heel all the way to the ground, plant. Keep the ball of the foot lifted, then let's lower the ball of the foot. Spread out your toes and think about weight coming down into the pinky and then all the way to the big toe. And then once both feet are well planted, shift your weight forward and back, wiggle those toes. Give your shoulders a roll. And then let's use the next inhale to reach those arms overhead. Find a little bend in those knees, forward fold as you exhale. With your next inhale from the back of the mat, we're walking those hands forward and we'll come all the way into a plank pose. Push out through your heels, draw the belly towards your spine, broaden that upper back. See if you can find softness through your jaw and your eyes. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. Extra challenge in your plank. Inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right foot. Exhale, lower. More challenge. Inhale, left hand. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right hand. And exhale, lower. Last breath in here. And then on your exhale, downward facing dog. Pushing the floor away with those hands, heels heavy towards the ground. Take another breath in. And then as you exhale, let's lower those knees to the mat. And once again, come all the way into a child's pose. You choose here. Knees could go wide or knees could come hip width. If your knees go wide, it allows your spine to lengthen forward a bit more. So if that's what feels good right now, do that. If your knees come together, then your spine will round a bit more. So if that feels good right now, do that. Anything you'd want to do with your arms, once again, 5 cycles of breath right here. And then with your next inhale, walking those hands back towards you, lifting that spine. We'll come through those knees. To come into a seat with those legs in front of you, you could come onto your knees and then send your feet to one side. And then with control, maybe your arms reach forward. See if you can lower those sit bones all the way in the space behind you. And then that frees up your feet to come all the way forward. And once you are here, let's bring those feet wide and the knees wide. Let's bring the hands to the outsides of the hips. And then give yourself a lift here. So use your arms to prop your spine up, to broaden the chest. Full breath in. And then as you exhale, lower your knees all the way to the left. And inhale, bring your knees back through center. And exhale, take your knees over to the right. Inhale back through center. We're going to add a twist or a bit more of a twist. So knees go to the left and then bring your right hand all the way over. And then turn your torso to face any amount towards the space behind you. Keeping that spine lifted, you're just going for this twist. You might feel some stretch through the front of that right hip, that thigh. Engage through that right glute. Breathe in and breathe out. And then we'll take it over to the other side. Right hand comes over, those knees lift, your feet are still wide, your knees are still wide, and then lower your knees towards the right, and then your left hand comes over, and then any amount of twist or turn towards the space behind you. And again, maybe finding that stretch through the front of your left hip. Breathing in and breathing out. Returning, left hand comes over, those knees come back up, and then from here, bring those knees to hip width, plant those feet well, spread your toes and press them down, reach your arms forward, take a full breath in, lengthen up, exhale, let's come halfway down. See if you can keep your chest broad, so draw the shoulder blades slightly back and down, take another inhale. And now on your exhale, section by section, lower the spine. Start with the lower back. Continue with the mid back. Continue with that upper back. And then lastly, lower the head. And once that back body is on the ground, maybe a sigh of relief, maybe not. And then bring those knees back into your chest. Rock from side to side. Full breath in. And full breath out. And then let's hug the right knee towards the chest. Let's plant that left foot on the ground, left knee bent. And then draw your right knee towards your right armpit. So it's coming out to the side a bit, up and out to the side. From here, you could stay or you could let your left knee open up also. Left foot still on the ground. Try to press that lower back down. Breathe in. And breathe out. This is a good moment also to lengthen the back of the neck. So chin slightly towards your chest. See if you can feel a bit more space in that area. One more breath. And then with your next inhale, return that right knee towards your chest, your left knee pointing up, and then we'll switch sides. Bring that left knee in, plant your right foot, right knee can stay bent, and then hug that left knee towards your left armpit. So it's coming out and once again up. Your hands could be around your shin or behind your thigh. Let your right heel just be heavy towards your glute. And as you send, or left heel, and then as you send your left knee towards the left armpit, you might let your right knee drop out towards the right. Trying to broaden that lower back here. So see if you can feel it on the mat. One more breath. And then use your next inhale to bring that right knee in, left knee in, and then both knees towards the chest. Maybe a little movement here, separate circles with those knees if that feels good. And maybe at the same time, a little looseness through the neck, so you could draw the chin from one shoulder to the other. And then let's lower those feet to the ground. And we're going to find stillness. So find the most comfortable position for your body at this point. So it could be feet planted, knees bent, resting against one another. It could be lengthening those legs out. Use any props that might be helpful. So sometimes block under knees or a pillow under knees. One under the head. If being on your back doesn't feel that great right now, you could come onto your side. Or you could always find these last moments of stillness in a seated position. And now we're just going to let the breath be whatever it is, that automatic, normal breath. And if we find pockets of tension that are not needed at this point, we'll try to release them, allowing more of the body to ground and to rest. As much as we practice doing throughout our yoga practice, we also want to practice not doing. What is that like? And as always, if you'd like to stay in this restful place for a bit longer, you're more than welcome to. If you're ready to move, engage a bit more your breath, and then wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, find any other movements that feel good, make them gentle. And if you're on your back, when you're ready, you could roll onto one side. The knees come towards the chest, the arms can support the head. And then you give yourself here a moment to breathe in and to breathe out. You could use your hands to push yourself up, and then we'll meet in a comfortable seat. And we'll end practice together. Hands can come to the heart. Find a lifted spine. Let's just take a moment to first acknowledge the practice, a practice that never ends being a practice. Then to acknowledge ourselves for today, making the time and space to practice. Then to acknowledge those who practice with us, and not only today, any other time. And then acknowledging all those that in one way or another made it possible. And we'll end with a word that talks about connection. A word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.